What does real resilience look like? Not just in theory, but in life and leadership. In this upcoming episode of Talent Talks, we explore that question from two powerful perspectives. Avni Martin is one of the most courageous and thoughtful, provoking voices in coaching today. She helps individuals, leaders, and organizations grow from the inside out, not just to perform better, but to lead with greater purpose and clarity. Sudhir Pathak was diagnosed with kidney failure at just 25 years old. After fighting a 7-year life and death battle, he rebuilt his life and his mindset by turning resilience into a practiced skill. Today, he serves as an international speaker and resilience expert, empowering leaders and organizations to design for resilience and excel amid the uncertainty. In this episode, we dive into what resilience really means personally and professionally, how to build it, yes, like a skill, and how it can transform the way we lead, work, and live. As Avni and Sudhir both reflect, resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Resilience isn't where you arrive, but it is how we respond when things don't go to plan. Avni Martin says, "You may not be born with resilience, but it can be built like any other skill." Sudhir Pathak says, "If you are feeling stuck, disillusioned, or worn out, this conversation might just shift your perspective." The full episode drops Thursday. I'll post the link in the comments. Stay tuned. A heartfelt thank you to Avni and Sudhir for joining me from across the globe and sharing their insights so generously. Welcome everyone to today's episode of Unpacking the Power of Resilience. We hear the word resilience often, but what does it truly mean in our lives and in our workplaces? Today I'm joined by two incredible voices to explore this deeply. Sudhir Pathak, a resilience expert and AI leader, and Avni Martin, an ICF Master Certified Coach, author, and founder of the Martin Institute. Together, we'll look at what resilience really is when we need it most and how it can be strengthened with clarity, courage, and commitment. So there, let's start with you. Resilience is a word that's used so often, sometimes actually, and sometimes casually. From your experience leading teams and driving change, what does resilience really mean to you?
Thank you very much, first of all, Mohammed, for welcoming me in such a nice introduction. In my experience, Mohammed, the way I have seen resilience, uh, I feel a lot of people think resilience as if it's a kind of your instinct or your ability to survive the challenges. But to me, or in my opinion, it's a way beyond that. And when you say it's just survival, to me, it's a myth, right? Because if you're just surviving, you are in a way very stagnant. Then you are not adapting. You are not growing up. So that way is, to me, resilience means how can you definitely overcome the challenges, but you come out stronger out of those challenges. You come out more, there is more growth, there is more purpose once you overcome those challenges. So what I mean to say is, let's assume that let's assume that in my case, right, when I was going through those 7 difficult years of kidney failure, right, so there were two phases of it. One, I was absolutely not resilient. I was still alive, so I was, you can say that I was surviving, I was still standing, I was I did not give up and all those things, but I know deep within that I was not resilient. I was just being dragged on as the life was taking me. I was just getting on. If I was put on dialysis, I was going for dialysis. My job was not good. I was still carrying on. People were leaving me. My loved ones left me. I was still carrying on. But that was not resilience. It was that somebody else was pulling me along and I was just living. And then there was another phase of those 7 years, those 3 4 years, where I showed the real resilience. Because then I was just not trying to survive. I was actually thinking, how can I contribute? How can I grow? And very, very important thing, what exactly are the things to which I am grateful for? I never thought of it earlier, right? So I was thinking, I'm not allowed to drink water. I'm going for dialysis for 3 days in a week for 4 hours in a bed where needles are pricked. So I was thinking everything is wrong. But once I changed the perspective, right, a very important P in the resilience philosophy, once I changed the perspective, I found, yeah, loved ones left me, but my mother is still around me. My parents are still around me. So that's a good thing to be thankful for, right? I still have consistent or a regular income coming in. It might be a small amount, but it's still helping me to take care of my medical bills, right? And then I started thinking, how can I contribute? Can I help people more who are suffering like me? And then I started helping them. So I think resilience is just not standing still and just hoping and thinking and praying that okay, one day the challenges will be over and I'll be able to sail through. Resilience is like taking it head on, adapt to it, and be grateful for what other things, good things are going in your life. So for me, resilience is growth. Resilience is adaptability. Resilience is thinking beyond what you can even imagine and look for that purpose and go for it, Mohammed. Maybe I spoke
What
too much,
about the
but that's what
workplaces,
resilience.
Sudhir? You
Sorry.
told great, tips, and thanks for sharing. What about, at workplaces,
Oh,
for professionals?
yeah. So see, workplaces, I first want to acknowledge there is too much of buzzword around resilience, right? So people say, I as an individual or I as a team member is resilient, good enough. But trust me, that is not going to help in team or the project or the organization in totality, right? You have to have that collaborative things, right? You have to have that collaborative or the collective resilience, as I call it, right? So what I mean to say is like this, Mohammed. I'll give you a very real life or the real professional life scenario. What I mean is this: in a team, let's assume you have 10 people, right? And out of 10, you have two who are top performers, and then maybe six who are average performers, the majority, and then two who are the worst or the bottom performers. The typical professional or the workplace setup says that okay, focus more on the top, let also the six people perform and leave those two people behind, let them go, put them in the performance improvement plans and all those things. By this philosophy, you can never make the teams who will outperform or make clients happy or who will do their jobs to the best, because you are not bringing everyone together. And trust me, the people who are at the bottom have the biggest scope to improve. They have the biggest scope to contribute. They might not be aligned to your purpose right now, and that's why they are not performing. You take them to a different stage. You take their, I'll say, strengths. You take their strengths along and bring it forward, and then you will be able to make a collective team. Because there is one thing which we all have to understand, and unfortunately it is still very much lacking in the organization, that people look for individual resilience, saying okay, he is one person who can handle the clients wonderfully, he is courageous in all. But nobody talks much around the collaborative or the collective resilience. And in the collective resilience, we don't need all 10 resilient people. We need 10 people with different class and calibers who can combine together and can contribute to the project success, Mohammed. It works this way. It never works on individual resilience. It always works on collective resilience, Mohammed.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Avni, you have described resilience as something that lives in the space before success, that period when we are trying, failing, and trying again. How does that perspective shift the way we understand resilience?
So first of all, thank you for having me here, Mohammed. And Sudhir, it's great to do this with you. So thank you very much. So like Sudhir said, resilience is such a buzzword that's being talked about all over. And of course, after COVID, they're talking about it more and more. And people often think of resilience as an end game, like, oh, I was resilient, or that we need to develop resilience as an end game. But I often feel that resilience is actually something that happens in the valley. It's when we know we want to do something and we can achieve something, but we haven't yet achieved it. Right. So then when there is a gap between that knowing that I can do it, but we haven't done it yet, at that point, in that valley of uncertainty, essentially, when we are trying, we are failing, or we are trying again, there is trials, there is tribulations. At that point, I feel our true resilience really has a chance to take root and step in and grow. So I feel like it's all about riding the valley with that. I think I shared in that LinkedIn post as well, riding that valley with that grit and grace as well, to just keep learning no matter what. So I feel that, resilience for me is a matter of aligning ourselves with our true purpose. Like if we know what our true purpose is, okay, if we know where we want to go to, and then we are stopped and we have a very powerful purpose, a very powerful why that's pulling us forward. And then we are stopped on the way. No matter what obstacles we have, we will keep riding that wave and keep going for it because it's worth it. So I feel that resilience is definitely an equation of being really clear about our purpose, being unstoppable, and also knowing that it's not something that we do at the end. It's something that we do during the moments when things are tough.
It's a process, you mean?
Yes, it is a process, exactly. And there is so much to learn in that process. And for most people, they have so much, I guess, resistance to that process. Like most people do not like it when things don't work out, obviously, right? I mean, nobody likes it. Even I don't like it when things don't work out. But then when they don't work out, what is our relationship to something not working out? Right? And how do we interpret it internally? What's our brain telling us when something doesn't work out? Are we generating lots and lots of negative thoughts, or are we looking at everything that doesn't work out as an opportunity to see, hey, what happened? Why did it not work out? How can it work out better? What can I learn more? What can I do differently? And keep going for it, right? And not being stopped, being unstoppable. So for me, yeah, that's a phase of resilience.
That's great. Thank you. Avni, what have you observed in your coaching work about what it really takes to stay resilient, to not just in what we do, but in how we think and feel when things get difficult?
Yeah, thanks for sharing the question. It's like, so basically, ultimately, I feel there are two or three main pieces to resilience. Okay. And in a way, the happy model that I have just written a book on actually coins it quite well. It can be applied to many different circumstances. And here also it applies extremely well. So the happy, one of the P's stands for purpose. So as I shared earlier, being extremely clear about our purpose will pull us through. No matter what obstacles come our way. And so purpose is like a fixed point where we are actually going towards that. I'm not saying everyone's purpose is fixed, neither is mine. What I mean is that being clear about a purpose pulls us through. So that's the first one of the P's. And then the other P is perception. So making our perception as fluid and as flexible and as adaptable as possible so that we can see which part of our brain is helping us to get to where we want to be, when which part of our brain or internal messages is not helping us get to where we want to be. So making the perception as fluid as possible, making the purpose like almost like a target where we are shooting our arrow to. And then, of course, the action piece, A for action of the habit and H for habits part, will then move us forward. All the actions will, of course, move us forward to getting to our purpose. And that is what then makes us resilient. That's the face of resilience. Like that's what shows up for people and ourselves. But ultimately, I feel that it really is a game of mind. Like, what is our relationship to obstacles? Like, I personally feel, Mohammed, that it's a matter of redefining our relationship with when things don't go right, right? When we come
Yeah,
across
it's somehow
obstacles.
mindfulness and awareness. Am I right? How can awareness or presence help us stay grounded, in that space before success?
Did you say everness and
Mindfulness and awareness.
everness? Yeah. Please explain what you mean by everness so I can understand you a bit more there.
No, I just want to know, for example, how can awareness or
Awareness.
presence help
Oh,
me?
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, you meant,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, fine. Mindfulness and awareness. Sorry, I heard a different word. I thought you said
Sorry.
no, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I heard everness, and I was thinking, what is that? Maybe you have a different way of looking at it. Okay, so yeah, mindfulness and awareness. Now, mindfulness about what and awareness about what, right? And I think those who are listening to this podcast, I would really just say that how do you apply mindfulness and awareness to developing deeper resilience is I would sincerely say that look at how you react. Look at how your body, your mind, and your behavior reacts to situations when they don't go your way, or there is an obstacle, or something goes wrong, or whatever happens, undesired stuff happens. Just look at what is happening within you in that moment. And if what is happening within you makes you propel forward, makes you think creatively, makes you think innovatively, makes you think about having more grace, more patience, right? And thinking of creative ways to move forward and not being stopped. Okay, then we're applying, then we know that whatever's happening inside of us is working for us externally. But if we pause and look at how we react, how our mind, body, and energy and emotions and behavior, how reacts to when we are stopped in life, if the reaction is that I'm paralyzed, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling depressed, I'm losing my energy, I'm closing doors, or some people become self-destructive, or whatever happens, if the output is negative, then we know that there is something that we need to fix or sort out there. We need to redefine, repurpose, and reevaluate our relationship to obstacles. Like obstacles are a guaranteed fact of life. Right? We're always going to get obstacles. There's not a single human being that doesn't get obstacles. It's a fact. So we might as well work on making our obstacles our friends rather than our enemies. So yeah, so I think that is the key, really. So I think that's how awareness really can help us push things forward.
Thank you so much. Sudhir, from a leadership and organizational perspective, what inner qualities or mindsets do you believe leaders need to build resilience in themselves and their teams?
Right. So there is one particular quality which I feel and which I have seen as well in resilient leaders. I mean, they always carry, and some people disagree to this, but the resilient leaders or the resilient people, they will always be compassionate or they will always be empathetic. And Mohammed, compassion is one of the, I'll say, core ingredients for building resilient teams or the resilient organizations as well. So I'll put this with an example, right? And I so while I was I faced those 7 8 years where it was, I used to think it's end of my life, but I overcame that. And the organization with which I was working towards the later half played a very key role, right? When I There was a time when I was very hesitant to open it up to the leadership to say that, okay, this is what I'm suffering from, this is what I want, or these are my asks. But one day when I decided that, okay, I'll open up and I'll tell them that what kind of a help do I need. So I told them that this is my 3 days in a week are going to go this like this. There will be work impacts and all those my agonies and pain I put in front of them. What this organization did is they showed compassion. So just to put a few things, they said, you are free to work on other days when your body and mind feels comfortable to work. If your team can support it, we are okay to let you go half a day early on all the 3 days of your dialysis, right? And then they said, uh, we are absolutely okay to give you the flexible working hours. Whenever you want to start, whenever you want to stop, you want to work in the daytime, nighttime, evening time, whenever you are flexible. And then they step a notch ahead. And when I was, ready for my transplant, they said, okay, this is your kitty of insurance. We will double it up with the corporate contribution, and we will make it easy for you. So what I mean to say in totality, because you asked that how the resilient teams or how the workplace shows resilience, since they showed all those things, they built an environment of compassion around me. Not only me, but my team also understood that this guy needs some help, right? So they started showing collectively towards me. So there is a team bonding which got built automatically. And then in return, what happened? I became more loyal to my team. I became more loyal to my organization. And I continued working even when it was tougher for me. I made myself accommodative to take care of the work. And even when the transplant was done, right? So there were times when the organization was struggling, but I didn't leave the organization. I stayed there because they showed compassion towards me. And now it was my time to give it back to the organization. So these small gestures helps a lot to build this collective resilience, to build this resilience in the team. And these are the true definitions of organizational resilience, Mohammed.
And this way you nurture both organization and personnels
Yeah.
in the organizations.
And not only that, right? Let's assume there's a team of, I am the one who is suffering, but the rest of the team members are not. But then they are stepping in and they are willing to help the person. They are taking care of that person's work. They're happy to assist the person. So they are, in a way, building a very strong bond. And that strong bond is not only personal, it gets reflected in the work as well. It gives better delivery to the clients. The milestones are achieved faster because people start working collaboratively.
That's great. When it comes to coaching, we should also ask Avni about that. Avni, what practices or coaching approaches have you found most helpful for leaders to stay resilient in today's fast changing environment? Globally, it could be
Yeah.
globally.
Yeah. So when leaders want to stay resilient, essentially I still would come back to the same basics to really be clear about your purpose, and of course then add on that whole communication element, because leaders are there to lead all the rest of their teams. So really communicate that purpose of why are we going through the changes we're going through? Why are we having to apply resilience? Why are we going through difficult times at this point? And what's it worth? So where are we heading to, and how are we going to manage this change? And so not just talk about what's going to happen, but also talk about how it's going to happen. Okay, and why it needs to happen. So really making that why clear, really making the how clear, not just what's going to happen. So I think, yeah, being very clear about the purpose is again one very important thing, and offering other people the flexibility to get coached. So if an organization develops a culture of coaching, then, and if resilience is built as a concept within their cultural in their organization culture, then they can actually get their people to get coached into how can we be more resilient? How can we really redefine, Mohammed, the way we approach challenges, and actually use every single challenge or every single obstacle as almost like a fuel that propels the rocket forward. How can we redefine that? Because so often organizations will turn around and have in a meeting, they might announce something that didn't work with a negative reflection. But how about we can announce it with a positive reflection that, hey, guess what? This didn't work, but what else can work? What else can we do? Right? And let's brainstorm that. Okay. So having that positive relationship to what we perceive as negative outcomes, but it's not really negative outcomes, it's just feedback. So really having that positive relationships to things that don't work out at an organizational level, within meetings, within coaching sessions, within small meetings, big meetings, whatever it is. I think that would be excellent if organizations can, if leaders can truly develop that. So yeah, being clear about the purpose, making sure that we work on our mindset at that, as Sudhir said in his opening conversation, really, if we can work at a collective level, not an individual level, that would really shift the cultures within organizations. And it can be done easily. It just is a matter of somebody saying, let's do it. This is how it's going to be done from now on. And then
is it different from the person to person? I mean, for example, some people want to be resilient. Is it okay to be resilient anyhow within the organization? Should I be resilient, or should I resist, or should I give up?
So, of course, it's each person's prerogative how they want to live their life. Is that we all have that free will. However, I would personally also, sorry, to kind of digress a little bit from your question, I would actually say that resilience begins at home and at dinner tables and with children. So I would personally say that leaders are made at home. So it's in the way that we nurture our children, right? In the way that we treat our kids. If they succeed, okay. If they don't succeed, okay. And really, it's all about what did you learn? What are you learning? What are you growing? What's happening with you? So I think if we can redefine the way we treat our family members, then that actually builds a great pipeline for the future generations of leaders as well. But yeah, coming back to your question, is it an individual thing? Does everybody have to do it? Well, it's good for everyone to do it, but it's up to them how much they want to do it. And hopefully many people will be listening to this, and hopefully many people will be inspired by Sudhir, Mohammed, and this conversation that we're having together. And really redefine the way they look at things when things don't go right for themselves.
And just to add on, Avni, right? I mean, I just want to say one thing because you asked, whether somebody wants to get on with resilience or resistance, or you used one other term. But I think we all have to be mindful that it's a skill which can be built, which can be developed, and which can be carried along, right? Like any other skill. If you practice it, it will get stronger. If you will stop practicing, it will get weaker. It will become a part of your habit gradually. So it's a skill. So the moment you particularly decide that I have to build resilience, and you don't have to do big things to make it happen, right? It all happens, as Avni rightly mentioned, it happens in a very small cordon of your dinner table itself. It starts from there. So it is all very atomic. You take small actions along the small challenges or along the small things which are happening around your life, and you will start developing this as a skill. So it's a very much a skill which can be learned, built, and developed, Mohammed.
Yeah, I love that point, Sudhir, what you shared, that it is just a skill, right? And it's like a muscle. We go to the gym, we don't have any muscles, we eventually build the muscles, and the muscles get stronger and stronger. And as you said, rightly said, it's a habit. You do the same thing over and over again, it becomes who you are.
So we are not born resilient. We have to try to be resilient.
Well, some people might have resilience in their genetics or their upbringing, or they are programmed to be resilient from day one through their parents, right? Through their nurturing. And some people not. But no matter what, no matter where we are right now, we can all completely be strong, committed, confident, clear about our journey to resilience.
Absolutely.
There is no way we have to be resilient to survive.
That's right.
You know,
That's
in anthropology, anthropologists say that, for example, 1,000 years ago, there were different types of, human kinds and human beings on Earth, and our ancestors killed those, other human beings to survive, and now we are here, and so we are the children of the killers. Some people say that, and this could be not a fine meaning of or definition of resilience. I myself have so many problems in my life, and the first time I found out the meaning or the concept of resilience was around, for example, 8 years ago. I was married and I had to serve my country in military service. I couldn't earn that much money. I was somehow hopeless. After 6 months, the father of my wife, he died, and that was a disaster. And I read a lot, and I came to this definition, this meaning, and resilience. And I had to be resilient to survive and not only save myself but also save my wife. It took around 3 months that I saw her laughing and smiling. It was too hard. And after that, I started learning more about resilience. But the question for me was always that uh, how uh, how we could be resilient, or even beyond that, how we could be, or how we could be hopeful, not to be hopeless. Sometimes we lose hope, and we cannot be resilient. We cannot survive. How is
yeah.
it possible for a person, for a man, to be always not only resilient but also hopeful?
Yeah. I think what really comes to my mind is what Sudhir actually shared earlier. I don't know if it was during our call or just before during our call. I can't remember.
Mhm.
It was part of the call, but we were talking a little bit earlier. And Sudhir mentioned this earlier that it's actually, we all go through down periods. Who doesn't? Right? And it's when we show up authentically and then we reach out to our friends and our loved ones, and nobody is anything or anybody all by themselves. We are all where we are because of each other's love, care, support, and nurturing. So if we can really, as Sudhir earlier shared, if we can really tap into the people that we can reach out to when we are feeling hopeless. And Mohammed, I'll 100% admit there are days when I will call up my best friend and I'll say, you know, I'm feeling hopeless right now. I'm feeling like I've tried so many things with this particular project. And, I'm feeling like, why is it not happening? What is going on? And, all I hear, I hear the most amazing things from her. And, she'll just kind of push me forward and she'll say something so nice that, Avni, you're just there. You're just there. Keep going, and you're doing so well. And here are a few things we can do, and she'll brainstorm something nice with me, and that gives me that hope. I'm like, yes, and it's just being able to be honest and open and authentic and reaching out to people that we know we can trust in our network, and allowing others to help us, and then of course we're helping them as well. So I think that is something that pulls us when we are down, right? And nobody ever can pretend that we're not down. We all go through down times.
Right.
Avni, how do we know? Go on, Sudhir, go
No,
on.
no, I just wanted to add on, right? I think
Yes.
we as a purposeful people, I think it's very important that we should start a movement now and saying we should encourage people to ask for help, right? People feel that they are so onto their own. They might be suffering, they might be into the state of a depression, but they are still very reluctant to ask for help. And when they know that they cannot do the things on their own, still are possibly upbringing, the nature, or the societal pressure, etc., brings this thought that don't ask for help. And I'm training my kid these days that whenever you are stuck, don't be, be shameless and ask for help. Because if you cannot do it, ask for someone else can do it for you, right? Or at least can help you out. So I think we have to be very, very, very shameless asking for help. I mean, that's the way I
Absolutely.
feel.
Absolutely
Yeah.
agree with you. Yeah.
Sorry,
Sometimes we
Mohammed,
want
I
to show
cut you
that
short.
yeah, sometimes we want to say that we are powerful. We do
Yeah.
not need anybody, and we have to go on your own. And that's sometimes wrong, you know. It's saying that says, for example, men don't cry,
Mm.
and you have to be very powerful. Yeah, that's it. Abdi, how do we know when resilience is serving us and when it's costing us peace or well-being?
Yeah, very deep question there. And I would say that actually we have to really ask ourselves, what am I being resilient for? Right? What is my purpose in this? And if our purpose is aligned to if what we're being resilient towards is being aligned to our purpose, then I feel that resilience will actually deepen our peace and deepen our sense of peace, alignment, and growth. And of course, we don't want to be resilient just for the sake of it. So you're basically asking how sometimes resilience can cost us. So if we are in a wrong relationship, a wrong job, a wrong industry, for example, okay, then do we want to be resilient staying in that? Right? I would obviously say no. Right? If a wrong relationship, get out. Wrong job, get out. And wrong industry, find the right one. So we don't want to be resilient for the sake of it. Otherwise, it will really wear us out. And that's not the right way. And I do see, Mohammed, I see many people who say that I need to stick with what I'm doing because I've invested so much in what I'm doing and I don't think I can leave. But on the other side, they're categorically saying, I hate what I'm doing. I don't enjoy it. It's not serving me. It is totally not aligned to my purpose, but they still try and stick with it. Now, of course, that's going to drain their energy, and they're going to be in that rat race. And very often, I'm an inner child integration therapist. I can share a bit from that angle. Very often, people are doing that because they feel, yeah, there is a deep level of insecurity, and they feel that they will judge themselves too much if they move. And so they have to resolve that internal conflict, and we help them resolve that internal conflict so that they can actually have the freedom to move on. So, does resilience cost us peace? Only if we are not having the alignment with our purpose, and it will deepen our peace if we are very clear about our purpose. So, for me, it all comes down to the purpose.
As we want to wrap up and finalize, what would be the last thing you want to add? What would be the truth you want to mention about resilience? Just one truth.
Be clear about our purpose and be very fluid and flexible about our perspectives, our perception. So let our perceptions do all the dancing it needs to do. As long as our purpose is clear, we can really adjust our mindset, adjust our relationship, and get to where we want to be and become unstoppable. And for me, that is the definition or the aliveness of resilience in action.
Sudhir, what about you?
I'll say, Mohammed, that as I said earlier, resilience is a skill. It can be learned, built, and developed. And I'll give an easy formula as well. So you always need to have this three P's together. One is the passion, and it can be built again, right? Don't think that it cannot. It can be built. Two is the practice, because the passion alone won't don't take you long. You have to practice it. You have to bring it to your muscle to make it as a skill, right? And the third is very important, that is purpose. So if you carry the three P's along, resilience can be built, learned, and developed, Mohammed.
That's
Yeah.
great. Thank you, Sudhir and Avni, for such rich conversation. That was really great, and I learned a lot. I somehow got emotional. I felt a great energy and knowledge from 1,000 kilometers. if you don't want to add anything else, we can finalize and say goodbye here to our listeners.
Well, thank
No, it
you.
was wonderful, Mohammed, and it's good to be emotional. It helps building resilience.
Yeah, thank you so much, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. And Mohammed, what about you? What are some last words from you? And what are you feeling or thinking or present to in all of these conversations we've had so far?
Uh, about resilience, I have to say that you have to stay strong, hopeful, because and you should, you shouldn't think that you have to survive here in this world of life. Many people do not believe in hell or heaven or the world after this world, but I think that we do not belong here. If you think this way, so you are okay. You have to be generous. We have to leave this world for this world. And we cannot, whatever you achieve, you have to leave it here. You cannot take it anywhere else.
Yeah.
So by this method, you can stay resilient. For example, you may have a great house, great, wife, great husband, great children, but when you die, everything collapses and you cannot take anything with you except your soul. So stick to your soul and think about other, spiritual stuffs and issues.
Yeah.
This is my definition of resilience.
Yeah.
Wow, I loved it. I mean, this is a perfect ending, right? The way you briefed it,
Thank you so much.
it's awesome.
I'm not a clergyman, but it was something more clergy or religious. Sorry.
Yeah. Mohammed, I always love how every conversation you will always bring it to a very deeply philosophical realm of, life after death and, going beyond who we are. And it's so true because, that way we develop that long-term thinking, as we were sharing earlier, but really long-term thinking and also detachment, right? Detachment, because one of the things that actually stops resilience, which we didn't really talk about, but actually is true, is that deep attachment. When we are so attached to it needs to be this way, I want this, and this is how it needs to be, this is how it needs to be, and blah, blah, blah. So we have all these, needs and wants and desires and attachments that actually almost can really make people feel not resilient if they are very attached to it. And detachment can really help with it because then you're just focused on, doing the thing. Like in Mahabharata, in I think in Bhagavad Gita, they say, right? In Hindi, they say, what is the phrase, Sudhir? Karm karo, fal na.
Fal ki ichha na karo,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like do the actions. Focus on the right actions. Don't worry about the right results. Results will come automatically.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that is the enactment of detachment.
We all die. We are
Yes.
mortals, but we think we are immortal. And this is the great
Yeah.
conflict within us. We have to solve it and we have to find peace. As we mentioned, Avni, and you also mentioned Sudhir. We have to find peace. I hope everyone finds peace somehow, anyhow, or one day. I don't know. I have not myself solved this problem within myself. I wanna grow and develop and to be developed as fast as possible. For example, I want to manage people. I want to be a manager. I am, also, manager. Actually, I'm a manager. I'm an HR director. But sometimes I think to myself that why I want to manage people. I know that I'm gonna leave this world behind. But why I want to be rich? Why I want to be famous? Why is it like that? And sometimes I think to myself, but I cannot find any answer, because I'm a human being. I'm not God.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a very cheerful and perfect place to end. On the note of dying, I like it. I like it. Oh, yeah, we're all gonna die. Absolutely, yes.
We are gonna die, but we are still alive, and we have to do something
Yes,
about our world
absolutely.
life.
Yeah. Stay resilient until we die. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
Yeah,
right.
and then
exactly.
beyond.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, we can end
you.
here and we can talk.
Sure.
We can stop recording. Shall we stop recording?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so
So
much.
have a
Thank
great
you.
time. Bye bye. Stop recording.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you, Mohammed.